Hey everybody! This is Crafting an Impact Dashboard to showcase your stats. I'm Heidi Barber and I'm an Educational Technology Specialist in Wayne County, North Carolina. Today we're going to be learning how to use Google Looker Studio to create data dashboards that visually pop all of your data in your professional world. A few things about me. I love all things STEM. I am a prior middle school science, math, and ELA teacher, as well as a prior elementary media coordinator. I'm ISTE certified. If you need any help with that process, reach out. But I'm always seeking new adventures to learn more about our world and be able to then provide those learning experiences to the students in my district and state and global world. And most importantly, I am a mama to this sweet little boy running around. His name is Atlas. On the screen, you'll see a few ISTE standards that are connected to an impact dashboard. They are by no means the only ones that connect to it, but they are a great way to kind of get grounded to start the process. You'll also see this example impact dashboard, super simple. By the end of this session, you should have something similar to this created that will automatically update your stats for you. So you get the hard work done up front, and then you reap the rewards and constantly have something that's visually appealing to showcase all of the things that you do each and every day. I'm going to show you a few exemplars to get started, and then we're going to take it a step back and really get our feet wet with the basics. But first, I really want to show you, this is probably my favorite one out of all of them. So this school district, not my school district, but this school district has a heavy focus on reading and being able to showcase their reading gains within their school. And if you hear my dog pause, I am so sorry. The pitter patter. But anyway, back to this. The school really values promotion of reading. And so they've created an impact dashboard where a student is able to submit like a Google form whenever they complete a book. So what you're seeing on my screen right now is one student's book log, their reading log, and then it will break down into genre for them, tells them how many books they've read. Sometimes you'll see these examples where they have like a progress bar across them where they're working towards a book challenge goal. Then the school district has that data filter into a class level report where the teacher can access and see how many books are read by each student, which books are being read, what those genres are, how many books total that class has read, because then it filters into a school level report where you can then see between the grade levels at the top, how many books are read by each, most read authors, and you're able to like click and see things change. So if I wanted to know the most read authors in 6th grade, I'd choose 6th, and then my data changes. Or if I unclick it, then it gives me all grade levels. And all of this updates completely automatically by the student entering a book that they've completed and the genre that that book is. Everything else automatically rolls. So this school district uses Google. So they have Gmail accounts as their email addresses, much like a lot of us do. And so when the student or the teacher signs in to their Google Chrome profile, then they're able to see their individual student page or their individual class page based on who they are. Again, advanced, but really powerful. The really cool thing about these impact dashboards are they can be embedded in your class website. They can be broadcast, or not broadcast, but they can be up on your TVs or your Promethean panels or whatever it might be in your school. I know a lot of our schools have TVs like in the hallways throughout the buildings, and this is a great place that you can showcase school information. Another example, let's get back into here, is for behavior. So maybe that's your professional world. If you are somebody who utilizes a lot of behavior data, let's see if I can get this one to open up. This one was a little finicky when I put it in the slide deck. All right. So some of these pieces I won't be able to see because it's not from my school district, and they have some privacy things in place, which is great. I completely understand that. But they have taken a CSV file of all their discipline from their student information system, and it breaks it down into referrals across the days, locations, categories. They have positive documentation. You can filter this for students with IEPs or 504s or none. You can choose specific grade levels. This is an entire district that uses this. You can click on a specific type of referral category. So if I click on fighting, it will filter the fighting only, so you can see where that fighting is happening, when it's happening. So if behavior data is your world, something to think about. All right. Another example is this pacing guide. This pacing guide is actually made by Durham Public Schools here in North Carolina. And what's really, really neat about this is it is a district-wide data dashboard, and you can choose the week. So if you change this to a week during the school year, let's see. Let's change this to, oh gosh, it's going to make me out to be a liar. Okay, so I used to be able to, maybe it's down for the summer. Okay, so it's making me out to be a liar, but check back after the school year starts, because you used to be able to choose dates, and then it would show you each grade level, each content area, exactly what students were working on across their entire district. I'm really sad that it's not doing it now. It was just working like 2 weeks ago. Okay, so maybe they've taken the stuff out, but please check back on this one because it was really great. And then the last exemplar that I want to show you, any of you who are on the ed tech side of the world know that student data privacy is huge in North Carolina right now. I assume it's huge across our nation. And a lot of school districts are putting in place a vetting system where most everything is just automatically blocked. And if a teacher wants to use it in their classroom, they submit a recommendation form for that resource to be approved, and it goes through a process. This district is using the Looker Studio platform to create an organized, searchable resource list that tells you whether or not that resource is approved, whether it's supported, whether it's been declined, and gives the dates on when it was most recently reviewed. Huge. This is something that I would like to move my district towards as we move further along in that process. So again, these are exemplars to get your mind working on all things that you could use a completely free platform for. So speaking of completely free, we're going to make our sample one, and we are going to use Google Forms, Google Sheets, and Google Looker Studio. You can click on these and you can fill out my example form. You can see how it will link automatically on my example Google Sheet, and then it will also update on my example Google Looker Studio. Go ahead, if you don't have the slide deck open yet, it is at the top of every slide. It is case sensitive, but as we move forward, you're going to want to design and build with me, so you will need the resources. All right, when we do this, we're going to use a Google form because it is super easy. The Google form is what you are going to update your data with. Now, that's as simple as it is. Once you get your impact dashboard created, it automatically updates for you. The only thing you have to do is just provide it some more data every once in a while. So you're going to provide the data through a Google form, which will be organized on that Google Sheets. And then Looker Studio will read the information from Sheets. So really helpful to understand that process. Now, if you're somebody who's really fluent with data, you're used to CSV files and all of the things, you can also use a CSV file as your data source for Looker Studio. For today, we're keeping it simple, a Google form. We will link our Google form to Sheets, which this screenshot right here shows you where that little button is at the top of your form. And then we're going to build together. So let's do this quickly. Let me come back here. We're going to start with our Google form. So I'm going to do this with you guys. The quickest way for me to do a Google form is I usually just go to my drive, but like if you're in your email, you can just click the little waffle in the top corner. Let's see if I can get here. Oh gosh, it says I'm not signed in. Yes, I am. Oh, I'm not signed in. There we go. Okay. So if you are on any Google product, you'll have this little waffle in the top corner that you can click and you can go directly to forms. I usually just come to my drive because honestly, it's usually a tab that I have open. And in the top left corner, I see new. When I click it, I can choose a new Google form. I want to go ahead and I want to just title this. Let's go Spring Creek Elementary Media Dashboard. Whatever your name is, think about your role. Think about what data sources you have available to you and what you'd like to showcase. I'm taking it from the media coordinator perspective because they need all of the advocacy that they can get right now with cuts and craziness and all the things. We know that they wear so many more hats than what they're acknowledged for. So you're going to create 4 or 5 different questions where you will then just be able to input new data. So what I mean by that is you are the only one that's going to be using this form. So you don't have to be super lengthy in details of your questions. They don't even have to be full questions. From the Media Center perspective, I want to track how many books are checked out. So I'm just going to say books checked out. So I know when I fill out this form, if I have any more books checked out, that's where that number is going to go. I'm going to change to short answer. You can use multiple choice. You can use drop down, multiple choice. I'm not quite sure that checkboxes would work for us, and the fancy things like the checkbox grid and things like that. Haven't tried them out. You might have luck, but I know that I can depend on short answer, paragraph, multiple choice, and drop down. For this is a short answer. And I always toggle off the required button because filling out this form isn't going to take long at all. But sometimes when I fill it out, I'm not going to want to input data for all of my questions. I might put it as a task in my routine that I always, every day at 3 o'clock, submit how many books were checked out for that day. But I might update some of the data weekly. Like I might wait until the end of the week to count up how many PLCs I attended. If the question is required, then it's going to make me enter something. If I put 0, it skews that data, especially if I ever want to average it. So I toggle required off so that I can choose whether or not I add that data each time. So take a few seconds. You want to make sure that you are coming up with 4 or 5 different questions. I'm going to do this really fast. Books checked out, tech tickets submitted. Feel free to pause and come back to it. All right, so I'm actually going to stop at 4. So books checked out, tech tickets submitted, books weeded, and PLCs attended. I thought about like how many classes I had, but we're not going to do that for right now. Okay, this is ready. One thing that I will mention is when you're building your data dashboard, you do kind of want to have some data in your data set. So I always go into the preview and fill it out for myself the first time, even if it's just made up data, like even if it's just one of everything. And the reason for that is then as I'm building my impact dashboard, I can see if there are things that are broken as I'm creating it. So now I have a response. If I click on my responses tab at the top, I can then click this link to Sheets, which was that screenshot on the slide deck. So I'm going to click link to Sheets. It's going to say, do you want to create a new one? Yeah, absolutely. It's going to open that up in a new tab, and then that's all you have to worry about for the sheet. So you'll want to keep your form up in case you need to see what your questions are. Your sheet you can close. And then we're going to open up Looker Studio. So Looker Studio usually isn't in the waffle, and I really just, oops, I can't type today. I usually just Google Looker Studio and select it. It's always at the top. It's going to make you sign in. It will ask you all sorts of crazy things like, do you really want to link your Google Drive information to this account and stuff like that? At some point, that's going to pop up in this process. It's a Google product, just like all the rest of the Google products. I know no reason to not trust the process. So I am fully all hands on deck, willing to say, yes, it's fine. Link it all. Let's get rolling. Once you do get signed in, you're going to notice that it looks a lot like your Google Drive does. So to get started, you're going to choose Create on the left side. And then an impact dashboard or a data dashboard is a report in Looker Studio. I'm going to open that up. And when I do, it pops up this box that says Add Data to Report. All right. I can do that because I've created the Google Sheet from the Google form. So I'm going to choose Google Sheets. And then I'm going to choose what the name of that sheet was, but they do it by most recent. So at the very top of the spreadsheet list is the one that I just created. So it's there for me. I do not change anything in worksheet or options. I just click add. And it's like, are you sure you want to do it? Yes, I am absolutely sure. Add to report. Okay, so a few things. We are ready to roll. First of all, Google Looker Studio is trying to get you started. So this box on my screen, they tried. They were like, maybe this is what you want. I don't want it. I can click on it, blue around it, and then I can hit delete on my keyboard and it goes away. Then I have a completely white, looks a lot like a Google slide, right? But this is going to be my impact dashboard. A few things to get started. I like to change the size of my dashboard. And the way that you do that is you go to File, Theme and Layout, and then this column has popped up kind of in the center. You choose Layout, and then you go down to where it says Canvas size and choose Screen 16:9 Landscape. That's going to be like any of your TV screens in your rooms or in your school, or a lot of monitors are that size. Then you can close that tab. Now, I'm going to give you some pre-made things to get started, and they will fit exactly in here. So that's good. A couple of other things to notice is because you linked a Google Sheet with the data, you're going to see on the very right-hand side, you're going to see this column called Data, and it'll have the name of your spreadsheet. And then underneath it are all of the questions from that Google form. Sometimes Looker Studio doesn't read what type of data each question is going to provide. And so I always start by making sure that it has labeled the types of data correctly and changing anything that's incorrect. So the way that I do that is at the very top again, I'm going to choose Resource and Manage Added Data Resources. Here I see that Google Sheet is connected. Under Actions, I can choose Edit. And now each question from my Google form are listed as a dimension. If any of your dimensions say date and time, other than the one that says timestamp, you're going to want to change that. Change it to either number or text, whichever it is supposed to be. And then that's going to save you a lot of headaches later down the road. But all of my questions are either number or text, which is exactly what I want it to be. So once I've checked my questions, I've changed anything to the way that I need to change them. In the top right, there'll be a blue button that says Done. Choose that. And then in that same spot, there is a Close button. I'm ready to go. This works just like Google Slides. You could insert text boxes and a background picture and lines and shapes and all the things. It takes a really long time, and if I'm being really, really honest, it's not all that pretty. You can work smarter, not harder, by app smashing and using Canva. And if you don't know, every educator gets a free Canva account, which is a premium account. So on the slide deck, there is a slide, if I get there. There's a slide where you can click to claim your free educator account. But what's going to happen is we're going to create the background of our Looker Studio in Canva. We're going to insert that background as a picture into Looker Studio, and then we're just going to drag the data on top of it. So on slide 14, there are some templates for you. Under templates, if you click on Canva template, it's going to ask you, do you want to make a copy of this template? Absolutely. This is yours to have forever and ever. Keep it, keep it, keep it. And you're going to see lots of examples to get you started. Some of them are very similar, as I've done different presentations with groups. But I want you to know that these have all started as pre-made Canva designs that were mind maps. So this used to be a mind map, just like this is a mind map, okay? So if any of these design-wise speak to you, you can use them. Sorry about that. My sweet little boy was crying. Okay. So, any of these mind maps you can use to change into your own, or if you wanted to find something different, you could add a page. Let's just come here, and then I can search under design for mind maps. And then there are a ton of other very cool ones that might work better for what you're looking for. But that's a great place to start when you're looking through things that are already designed for you. And then we'll change all the text to meet our needs. So maybe this one's kind of neat. I might use this one today. All right, so you're opening up this template. It's now yours. And your job is going to be to make it look exactly how you want it. So I'm going to do that quickly. While you do it too. Don't know what I just did there. All right, I'm going to pause. I'm going to get this ready, and then I'm going to come back to you. Ta-da, I'm back. Okay, so if I go to that same spot, changed a few things on it, some colors. It's not my favorite thing in the whole world, but it works for today. So you'll notice that I have spots for 4 pieces of data. So I have taken my 4 questions, or the 4 data sets, dimensions, as Looker Studio calls them, and I have spots where I'm going to add that data in. I just messed up that shadow, but okay, we'll undo that. That's fine. So once you have your background created in Canva, you're going to download it as an image. You do that with the share button and then download. Keep everything the way that it is as far as you want it a PNG. The size is fine. What you do want to change is the pages. You're not going to want all of them. You only want your current page. And then you'll hit download and it goes to your, wherever you get your downloads on your computer, whether it's your downloads folder. Once you've done that, come back over to your Looker Studio data dashboard. I'm going to go ahead and change the name of this so that I don't forget to do that later. Spring Creek Elementary Data Dashboard. Whatever you want the name of it to be. Okay, so this works just like Google Slides does. I've said that before, but on my toolbar, there's going to be this little square with the mountains in it. If I hover over it, that's to insert an image. I want to do that. Or you can come up to insert and get all the way down towards the bottom, and you'll find the same little icon image. Oops. So I always use the toolbar. Insert image, upload from computer. I'm going to find it in that downloads folder. It looks teeny tiny once it's put on there. I promise you it's the right size. You just put it up into the corner, click and drag. Boom. Just like that. Once you have resized your image and it's your background, it's beautiful, right? Like you're ready to go. Here's where the magic happens. Here's the good stuff. You're going to insert data spots. And so you do that by saying insert, and then it gives you all these different types of visual data options. Now I'm going to tell you, I always start with the same one. I always start with scorecard, which is right here. I also know, because I've done this a few times, that all 4 things for me today, I'm going to keep it as scorecard. You might want a pie chart. You might want a table. You can do that by selecting them here, or I can show you how to change it later. So that's why I say I always start with scorecard, because I just change mine later for what I need. So when I choose scorecard, I have to click somewhere. So I'm going to click in this first little area, and it's going to pop up a box, but I also have a new column that pops up. And this is my chart column. Now, if I don't actually want a scorecard, next to the word chart, there's a downward facing caret. And when I click that, it shows me all of the other types of data visualization that I can do. And I can just click on them and it changes it to that type. So you can play around with that. In the same chart column, you're going to see there's a setup area and there's a style area. This is where the magic happens. So under setup, if I look under metric, right now it says record count. The metric is the dimension that's being read. Or in simple terms, the metric is your question that's being read. And you have to excuse me, I have the hiccups all of a sudden. So next door to it on the right is my data column. So if I want this to be my books checked out spot, I'm going to take books checked out. I'm going to click and drag it, and I'm going to release it over that blue metric area. And it changes it to books checked out. Now it also tells me that this is a sum. So it's going to calculate every time I submit that Google form, it's going to keep adding on to that total sum. I can change this if that's not what I'm looking for. I'm going to zoom in to this area. Oops. Because this is the area that I want to focus in with you guys on. First, I notice a couple of things. I notice that there is like a title of my question there. I don't like that. And I notice that my number is really small and it's left aligned, and I don't like any of that. Everything that you need to change is in the same chart column, except it's all under this little area called style. So once you've changed the metric, then you can click on style. And if you scroll down under the labels section, there's this tiny little box that says hide metric name. If you click that, that title goes away. So I always click that. And then I'm in the right spot to change this data into a more visually appealing piece. Size-wise, font size, Looker Studio is limited. It doesn't let you just type in a number. But what it does is at the top of the scroll bar, it gives you the word auto. I choose that, and then suddenly I'm going to be able to click and drag this box to make this number bigger. Okay. So think about how you want that. I also am going to want my value to be centered in the box, because as it gets bigger, in the tens place and hundreds place, I want to make sure that it expands evenly. I can also in the same spot change the font of that number or whatever that data is. For some reason, I always choose either Boogaloo or Bubblegum Sands. I don't know why I like them so much, but I do. I don't like that. So you can choose where you want it to stay. And you can also change like the font color. So if I wanted it to match, oh gosh, it's not what I wanted to click. If I wanted it to match, I could go through and type in like the hex information and stuff, or I can just say, I wanted that color for now. If I was doing this for real, I would be matching colors. All right, I'm going to zoom out because that one's ready. Every time my form gets updated, this is going to change for me automatically. Let me come back here. You can repeat that process 4 times. So you can say insert, scorecard, and then change the pieces. You can also select what you just did, copy it, paste it, drag it, go to setup under that chart column, and just change the metric. So this is PLCs attended. Now, I made the mistake of putting 1 in as all of my data. Ideally, I probably should have had a mixture so I could make sure that it was working the way that it's supposed to, but we're just going to roll with it this way. Now, rinse and repeat 2 more times, whether you feel more comfortable going insert, scorecard, clicking, dragging over your metric, going to style, scrolling down to the labels area, hiding metric name, changing your font to auto, changing the font color, and then changing the box size, changing the alignment, hoping that you get that the right size. You can do it that way. Or copy, paste, drag. Drag your metric to change it. And you're good to go. Your choice. If you are working with a different type of chart, if I wanted this to be, let's say, a pie chart or a donut chart, those are what I typically will use. I really only use, so far in what I've done, scorecards, pie charts, and donut charts, but I am learning all the others and their functionalities and things like that. But you might not want to copy and paste if you're making all sorts of different types of charts. Now, once you have finished that, you're done with the hard work. Now, this automatically updates just whenever you enter more data on the Google Sheet, or on the Google form. So a couple of things that you want to know. This automatically updates, but it does take a few minutes to update. It is not instantaneous. So when you fill out that Google form again, it's going to take 10 to 15 minutes before you're going to see those changes reflected on your impact dashboard. If you don't have 10 to 15 minutes, maybe you're using this in a classroom and you're showcasing STEM challenge data between different teams and you want it to refresh right away, you can manually push a refresh. And to do that, you up here in this top corner, these 3 little dots, I call them my snowman. If I choose that, then I can say refresh data and it will it'll push that refresh out if I don't have those 15 minutes to wait. But typically, if I'm just doing this at the end of the day or the end of a week or the end of a month, it's not a problem. Okay. If I want to put this on my website, up here, this share button, there's a caret. I can embed the report right into a site. I could get a report link. If you're using Canva, you can get this report link, paste that report on a Canva slide or whatever it might be, and it embeds it for you. Think about that. You can share it with specific people if you wanted them to just have the link to go to right away. So there's lots of options for this. But really, truly, like that's it. You now just go back to your form, and I'm going to fill it out again to show you really fast. Let's say I checked out 34 books since last time. I submitted 2 tech tickets. I wasn't able to weed any books because I was busy attending 3 PLCs. Oops. Submit this, come back to my dashboard. I don't have time to wait, so I click my 3 little dots in the top corner and I refresh my data. Boom, it changes for me. How cool is that, guys? Okay, how cool is that? I love it so much. I love it. I hope that you're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Let's come back here for a second and see what I forgot to tell you. Okay. Resources. So you went to this page to click on Looker Studio template. If you want to see this same type of webinar, just super fast, made for media coordinators, there's a 20-minute version linked here too. Not my best work probably, but it's there if you want it. All of these exemplars that I showed at the beginning are linked so that you can open them in Looker Studio this way as well. And then I have to give full 100% credit to everything I know and the reason that I know it to a man named James Allen. He works for the state of Kentucky, like our DPI in North Carolina. He works for the Department of Public Instruction in Kentucky as a lead media coordinator. And he is the one who first used Google Looker Studio in a K-12 environment that I found. And he does trainings and PDs and amazing things in the media world. So he has some tutorials, he has some resources under that presentation. I'm a fangirl. I cannot wait to one day meet him and thank him because this is incredible to me, and I hope that it is to you. And then if you need any help at all, please feel free to reach out to me. Summertime right now is a little bit hectic. Beginning of school year is a little bit hectic, but I will always find time for you, even if it's a simple little question or an in-depth brainstorming session or support needed. I'm willing to help you in any way possible for free. And if I don't know the answer, I am super excited about those opportunities because me not knowing an answer to help you helps me learn it deeper. And I am always looking to do that. So email address is on the screen. Twitter, X, Twix handle is there. Working on moving to Threads, hopefully in the near future. But please reach out and even if it's to show me what you've created, I'd love to see all of those things. But I hope that this was beneficial for you, and I can't wait to hear from you soon. Thanks so much.